What will people say about you when you die? Like, I know, morbid thought, right? But were you known for the way in which you loved and treated people? Or were you known for what rules you stuck to and how against everything you were? See, in this video, we're going to talk about how to have the biggest possible impact in your life. And make sure you stick around to the end because I'm going to share with you one hack to make this impact thing happen each and every single day. Every day, about a quarter of all Americans, so like 1 in 4, visit one of the 300,000 fast food restaurants across the US to purchase a meal. Let me know in the chat below what you think to be the best fast food restaurant and why it is not In-N-Out Burger. Anyway, I digress, but every year the average American spends $1,200 on electronic devices. Let me also know in the chat the last piece of tech that you or your family purchased. Two seemingly unrelated things, right? You got food over here and tech over here, but no, they're really not unrelated at all. Here's why. Both pieces of data reveal the underlying assumption that the Americans value comfort. When I was in 8th grade, I moved to a brand new school. And I moved in the middle of the school year, which honestly is probably one of the hardest times to integrate into a new school. In the middle of the school year and as an 8th grader. All right, and so I'm sitting there, I walk into the lunchroom and I have no idea where to sit. I also didn't know that after the 8 minutes that 8th graders took to eat their lunch, what everyone else did for the rest of the hour. Apparently, they went to the other side of the school building, where there was a gym, but people would walk through the parking lot, like outside. And I was watching people walk outside and I was thinking to myself, where are these people going? See, nobody told me. I was low-key trying to figure out where to go, what to do, but I couldn't use all of my context clues to piece it together. Teachers and administration during the lunch hour, honestly, they're useless. They let kids do what they want. So they didn't let me know. And no, of course, listen, I'm in 8th grade. I didn't ask any clarifying questions. I like to find those things out on my own. But being new, I hated that feeling of discomfort and uncomfortability. Like I have no clue what to do, where to go, how to manage this lunchtime thing. Have you ever been there before? Right? It's horrible. On the flip side, if a brand new person enters into your space or your life or your school, it's obviously and definitely more natural for you to remain in your circle of friends and in your circle of comfort, isn't it? Food, tech, and relationships. We all love comfort. See, it's more comfortable to sit by our friends than to go sit by the new kid on the other side of the lunchroom. It's more comfortable to eat lunch at our table than go be with someone that you don't know and that you've never met before. It's more comfortable telling our inside jokes rather than bringing someone new into that fold to let them know about your inside joke. See, all of this is just as it pertains to your life in school, social circles, church, your neighborhood, on your teams, on the buses you ride. All of this is how we navigate comfort and new people and new situations. But believe it or not, the key to making an impact actually lies square in the middle of this discomfort. Problem, however, is that 1/4 of all of us as Americans seek convenience on how we eat our meals. We'd rather go to one of the 300,000 fast food restaurants, or over $1,000 a year is spent on technology. Why? To make our lives easier, cushier, and more comfortable. So you immediately see the issue, right? We love comfort, and we want to actually chase comfort in just about every facet of our lives. However, if we want to make an impact, if we want to be known for something that matters, well beyond after we have left this earth, we have to be willing to step into the discomfort. And that right there is where the tension and the rub really starts to come into effect. You see, making an impact often doesn't come while you're comfortable, but making an impact happens when you willingly step into the discomfort and being willing to benefit other people. And while discomfort is a cultural phenomenon that we often choose to shy away from, Jesus himself often leans into discomfort. See, in Jesus' day, the Jewish people had a literal feud with the Samaritan people. It's like the Red River rivalry, say that 5 times fast, with University of Texas versus Oklahoma in football. No matter what side you're on, you hate the other opponent. It's like if you're a Cowboys fan, you don't like the Eagles even though they were in the Super Bowl last year. No way, you were definitely cheering for Mahomes and the Chiefs. Or actually, probably, it's more like if you're a Rangers fan and you just hate the Astros, right? Because the Astros cheated and nobody likes the Astros. And now and forevermore, anyone who ever plays against anyone on the Astros or against their management or coaches, they're painted in a negative light because they cheated. Now, I digress, right? But that is the depth of hatred, and honestly probably even more, between the Jewish people, which is what Jesus' race and ethnicity was, and the Samaritan people, right? Like the Samaritans, think about this. They were kind of like Jewish relatives, but the Jews intermarried with other races and different cultural and socioeconomic backgrounds, and as a result of that, that's where we get the Samaritan people. And so they didn't like them for those cultural differences, but in addition to that, they didn't get along because they believed different things about their religion. They actually had a feud over the location of each of their respective temples, which doesn't sound like it matters very much now, but back then to them, it was a huge deal. And so, with that as the backdrop, understanding this feud between the Jewish people and the Samaritan people, I want you to think about this as a good Jewish man, a good Jewish rabbi says this in John chapter 4. He left Judea and returned to Galilee because he had to go through Samaria on the way. Now, if you heard that as a first century reader or listener, you would be shocked. Like a Rangers fan doesn't willingly go become an Astros fan. A Jew doesn't go through Samaria. In fact, in Jesus' day and age, if you read this, you would know that there was a path from Judea to Galilee that specifically avoided Samaria. So in fact, reading this, it wouldn't even make very much sense because Samaria was a common area in which you chose to willingly avoid. But Jesus had to go through Samaria, and he finds himself at a well. And while at this well, Jesus interacts with this woman who has just this incredibly checkered past. Like, it would have been one of the most shocking things to see a devout, religious Jewish man like Jesus sitting at a well talking with this woman. It was culturally taboo in just about every single way possible. Here's how their interaction goes down. Soon a Samaritan woman came to draw water, and Jesus said to her, "Hey, can you please give me a drink?" So he was alone at the time because his disciples had gone on into the village to buy some food. The woman, she was surprised by this request because Jews refused to have anything to do with Samaritans. Remember, Astros, Rangers. So she said to Jesus, "You are a Jew, and I'm a Samaritan woman. Why are you asking me for a drink?" Jesus replied, "If only you knew the gift that God has for you and who you are speaking to, then you would ask me and I would actually give you living water. But sir, don't you have a rope or a bucket? And this well, it's very deep. Like, where would you go get this living water from? And besides, do you think you're greater than our ancestor Jacob, who gave us this very well? How can you offer better water than he and his sons and his animals enjoyed?" Watch Jesus' response. He says, "Anyone who drinks of this water will soon become thirsty again," talking about the well. "But those who drink of the water that I'm talking about and I give will never become thirsty again. It becomes a fresh and bubbling spring within them, giving them eternal life." "Please, sir," the woman said, "give me this water. Then I'll never be thirsty again, and I won't have to come back here to get water." What I want you to see is that Jesus put his natural comfort and prejudices aside when he walked and spoke to this woman. What was the unnatural part, you might be asking? It's not just her Samaritanness, but also the fact that she had lived such a checkered life up to this point. You see, immediately after this interaction that we just talked about in Scripture, it was revealed that the man with which the woman was living was not actually her husband. And prior to her living with this man, she'd actually had 5 total husbands, which probably explains why she willingly showed up at the well in the desert in the middle of the day, right? She was hoping that she wasn't going to see anybody. And what that communicates to me is that she's ashamed of the life that she'd been living. And I want you to notice that everything that Jesus is doing here is he's taking his message of hope to this woman who's nothing like him. She's nothing like him religiously, she's nothing like him morally, and she is nothing like him socioeconomically. But Jesus, choosing to follow God's direction of having to go through Samaria, meant he was doing something incredibly unpopular with the people that he was used to associating with, the Jewish people. What's an unpopular Samaria-like decision in your own life? Well, think about it. Maybe it's sitting with a certain person or type of people at a different lunchroom table. Maybe it's choosing church over a football game. Maybe it's paying money to go serve the less fortunate in a place that's different than where you're used to, like on a mission trip or something like that. Right? Remember, Jesus broke past what was comfortable and common and normal, and he traveled through a way less convenient location to talk to someone that he probably shouldn't have been talking to. But I want you to see what breaking past that comfort and choosing to step into the discomfort did. It says many Samaritans from the village believed in Jesus because the woman had said, "He told me everything I ever did." And so when they came out to see him, they begged him to stay in their village. And so Jesus stayed in the village in Samaria for 2 days, long enough for many more people to hear his message and believe. Guys, here's the thing. If you would like to make a difference in your life, if you are willing to punch fear in the face, step out of your comfort zone, move into a place of discomfort and into uncharted territories, then the one hack that I promise to give you that can change your life and make an impact in where you are is this. I want to challenge you to look at life through the eyes of someone else. You see, most people looked at this woman here, they rejected her, or at least kept their distance, right? And I don't know if this was Jesus's hack, but the hack that I want to encourage you to use is this. Ask this question. How would it make me feel if I were like her? Or how would it make me feel, right, if I were like her and nobody ever talked to me? Or how would it make me feel if I were like her and had to go get water alone? Or how would it make me feel if I sat alone at church without anybody ever coming up to talk to me? I'd like to encourage you during this entire series, this entire playlist here on YouTube, to open your mind to the idea of being a bringer. Like, who in your life might benefit from you stepping into the discomfort and choosing to bring them? Maybe you can introduce them to the community that you've found here. Maybe you can introduce them to the faith that you're growing in your own life here. And maybe, just like Jesus did with the woman at the well, you can introduce them to the Jesus that you've found here. See, it could be as simple as inviting them to the next big thing at church in person, or just simply clicking the share button on this video link and sharing it with them. But who in your life do you need to be a bringer? Hey, what's up, friends? My name is Nick. So excited to have you join us for this video. And we just want to let you know that we are a local church in the DFW, Dallas-Fort Worth area. And if you're local to here and you're in 6th grade through 12th grade, we would love to invite you to come check us out Wednesday nights in person or Sunday mornings. But if you're not, or if you're just not ready to do that, we also want to let you know that we love interacting with you here online. So whether it's these long form videos or some of our YouTube shorts, or hang out with us over on TikTok, or Instagram. We are hoping to provide inspirational, creative, fun, silly content every single day, ultimately all with the aim of helping you take meaningful next steps in your faith to Jesus. If there's any way and anything, any prayer that we can offer for you as a pastor, we would love to invite you to do that. Hit us up in the DMs or shoot us a message some way, somehow. Until next time, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching this video. We're excited to be with you.